There are people in your life right now who are draining your energy, and you don't even realize it. You help them. You listen to them. You give them your time. But after 50, something changes. Your energy becomes more valuable than ever before, and certain types of people should no longer receive it. Carl Jung studied this for decades. He discovered that after a certain age, the human mind begins to protect itself differently. It starts recognizing patterns, and today, you're going to learn exactly which types of people you should stop helping after 50. Because the psychology of the human mind reveals something powerful here. And if you don't understand this, you'll keep losing the most precious thing you have left: your peace. Before we continue, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below where you're watching from. Let's begin. Most people think helping others is always good. That's what we were taught. Be kind. Be generous. Always lend a hand. But here's what nobody tells you. After 50, helping the wrong people doesn't make you a good person. It makes you tired, drained, empty. And the psychology of the human mind explains why. Because after 50, your brain starts operating differently. You've accumulated decades of experiences, thousands of interactions, and your mind begins to recognize patterns that younger people can't see yet. Let me give you a real example. Imagine you have a friend who always calls when they need something. Money, advice, a ride somewhere. When you were 30, you helped without thinking twice. But now after 50, something feels different. You notice they never call just to talk. They never ask how you're doing. They only show up when they need something. And here's the thing. This isn't about being selfish. This is about understanding what the psychology of the human mind has discovered. After 50, your energy doesn't regenerate the same way. You can't bounce back like you used to. Every person you help takes a piece of your limited energy. And if you're giving it to the wrong people, you're depleting yourself. Pay attention to this. This is more common than you think. There's a detail here that almost nobody notices. The people who drain you the most are often the ones who seem the most needy. They create urgency. They make you feel guilty if you don't help. But behind that behavior, there's a psychological pattern that changes everything. Let me explain the first type. The eternal victim. This person always has a problem. Always. No matter how much you help, there's always a new crisis. They lose their job. They have health issues. Their relationships fall apart. And every single time, they need your help. But here's what Carl Jung discovered. Some people build their entire identity around suffering. They don't actually want solutions. They want attention. They want someone to feel sorry for them. After 50, you need to recognize this, because if you keep helping the eternal victim, you'll be helping them forever, and you'll never see change. Second type, the energy vampire. This is the person who leaves you exhausted after every conversation. You talk for 10 minutes, and suddenly you feel drained. They complain constantly. Everything is wrong. Nothing is ever good enough. The weather, the government, their neighbors, their family. And they want you to listen for hours. The psychology of the human mind shows us something important here. Negative energy is contagious. When you're around someone who only focuses on problems, your brain starts adopting the same patterns. You start feeling heavier, more anxious, more worried. After 50, you don't have time for this anymore. Your mental health is too precious. Third type, the user. This person only shows up when they need something and then disappears. You hear from them once every few months, always with a request. Can you lend me money? Can you help me move? Can you give me a ride to the airport? But when you need something, silence. They're always busy, always unavailable. And after 50, this becomes crystal clear because you start noticing the pattern. These people don't value you. They value what you can do for them. There's a difference. Fourth type, the boundary breaker. This is someone who doesn't respect your limits. You say no, and they push. You say you're tired, and they insist. You say you can't help right now, and they guilt trip you. They call late at night. They show up without warning. They demand your time as if it belongs to them. Carl Jung talked about this in his work on psychological boundaries. He said that people who don't respect your boundaries are unconsciously testing you. They're seeing how much they can take, and if you let them, they'll take everything. After 50, you need strong boundaries, not because you're mean, but because your energy is finite. Fifth type, the comparison maker. This person is always competing with you, even when you're just trying to share something good. You mention a trip you took, and they talk about their better trip. You share good news, and they minimize it. You accomplish something, and they remind you of what you haven't done. This is exhausting, because it turns every interaction into a competition. The psychology of the human mind reveals something here. People who constantly compare themselves to others are deeply insecure. They need to feel superior to feel valuable. And after 50, you realize something important. You don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. Sixth type, the advice rejector. This person always asks for your advice, but never takes it. They come to you with the same problem over and over. You give them suggestions. You share your experience. You offer solutions. And they nod. They say thank you. But nothing changes. 2 weeks later, same problem, same conversation. Here's what's happening. They don't actually want advice. They want validation for doing nothing. After 50, you understand this. Your wisdom has value. And if someone isn't willing to use it, they don't deserve it. Seventh type, the drama creator. This person thrives on chaos. They're always involved in some conflict, always fighting with someone, always in the middle of some disaster. And they want you to take sides. They want you to get involved. They want you to be part of their drama. But here's what Carl Jung understood. Some people are addicted to emotional intensity. They create problems because calm feels boring to them. After 50, you've earned your peace, and anyone who brings drama into your life is someone you should distance yourself from. Eighth type, the guilt manipulator. This is the most dangerous one, because they use your kindness against you. They make you feel bad for saying no. They remind you of all the times you've helped them before. They act hurt. They act betrayed. They make you feel like you're the bad person for having boundaries. The psychology of the human mind shows us this is emotional manipulation. They're using guilt as a weapon. And after 50, you need to recognize this immediately, because guilt is one of the heaviest emotions you can carry. Ninth type, the time waster. This person doesn't value time the way you do. They call you for no reason and talk for hours. They ask you to help with things they could easily do themselves. They expect you to drop everything for minor issues. And here's the truth. After 50, time becomes your most valuable resource. You can't get it back. Every hour you spend on someone who wastes it is an hour you'll never have again. Pay attention to this pattern. 10th type, the one-way relationship. This is someone who takes but never gives. You've been there for them countless times, but when you need support, they're nowhere to be found. The psychology of the human mind reveals something powerful here. Healthy relationships are reciprocal. They flow both ways. But some people only know how to receive. After 50, you start recognizing these one-way relationships, and you realize they're not relationships at all. They're transactions, where you always lose. Now here's what changes everything. Carl Jung discovered that after a certain age, the human mind enters what he called the individuation process. This is when you start becoming truly yourself. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop sacrificing yourself for people who don't appreciate it. You start protecting your energy, your time, your peace. And this isn't selfishness. This is wisdom. Because after 50, you finally understand something that took decades to learn. Not everyone deserves access to you. Some people need to be loved from a distance, and some people need to be removed from your life completely. This is what the psychology of the human mind teaches us. You are not responsible for saving everyone. You are not obligated to help people who refuse to help themselves. Your energy is sacred. Your peace is sacred. And after 50, you finally have permission to protect both. So if you recognize any of these types of people in your life right now, it's time to make a decision. Set boundaries. Say no. Distance yourself. Because your second half of life should be about quality, not quantity. It should be about deep connections with people who value you, not surface relationships with people who drain you. Now I want to hear from you. Do you recognize any of these types in your life? Have you already started setting boundaries after 50? Comment below and let me know. Hit that like button if this resonated with you. Subscribe if you want more content about the psychology of the human mind. And here's something important. There's one type of person even more dangerous than all of these. Someone who appears helpful at first, but slowly takes over your entire life, and almost nobody sees it coming until it's too late. I'll explain exactly who this person is in the next video.